Hello, welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're making banana cream pie. Not just any banana cream pie, the world's best banana cream pie. So we'll see if that lives up to the name. Pretty big shoes to fill. As always though, these kind of recipes depend probably a lot on who's making them. We'll see if I'm up to the challenge. Already out the gate, I'm kind of shooting it in the foot by not using the Nutter Butter crust because I couldn't find any gluten-free Nutter Butters. So I'm using the graham crackers that I made last week. It should be fine. I don't know if that's gonna really like knock it down too far, but maybe it's not gonna be like world's best, maybe it'll just be like United States best. But I'm still looking forward to it. And then obviously you can try with the Nutter Butter if you can have gluten, or if you can find a gluten-free Nutter Butter, which also let me know because sharing is caring. But you can try with that, let me know if that's makes it next level, and we'll all enjoy Pie Day with some delicious pie, even though I'm dropping this on Pie Day. So unless you're really quick, you won't be able to make this for that, but maybe next year. Or, I mean, pie is infinite, so why not enjoy Pie Day on any day? That's the true meaning of Christmas right there. Let's run through the ingredients and then we'll get into cooking. Graham crackers, unsalted butter, an egg, whole milk, egg yolks, we'll get them out, sugar, cornstarch, salt, bourbon, vanilla, salted butter, bananas, heavy whipping cream, powdered sugar, and dark chocolate. For this recipe, there's kind of two parts that we're breaking everything up into. First is the crust, and then second is the filling. We're gonna be doing the crust first because it needs to cool after being put in the oven. So it's smart to do that first, and then while you're making the filling, it should cool off. The first part of making the crust is going to be to take the graham crackers that you made last week, or well, that we made last week. You can make them, right beforehand. We're gonna put them in a food processor and then kind of blend that up until small, fine kind of crumbs. You're going for, it's like kind of like sand-like consistency. You'll see. The next step is to take all of those graham cracker crumbs that we have, put them in a bowl, form a well, add in the butter and the egg at room temperature. So gonna think ahead a little bit here. And then we're gonna mix that all up until it's combined. It should look a little dry, but that's okay. As long as it kind of holds itself together, you're good to go. So retrospective little thing here that I didn't mention before, I'm using a 10-inch springform pan and it calls for a 9-inch. So I needed to add some more graham crackers to have enough, because looking at it, it didn't seem like it was gonna be enough. And also it looked very damp. It's supposed to not look that way. It's supposed to look kind of dry. So maybe my egg was bigger than what they were expecting. I don't know, something happened and it is more liquid in there than I think it should have. So I added in more graham crackers. Kind of didn't super solve it, but I don't have any more graham crackers, so hopefully this works. The next step is going to be to take that mix, press it into the springform pan, and then bake at 300 for 10 minutes. Now that the crust is done, the next step is going to be to start the filling, and that's going to be to kind of make the base. Well, I guess the filling is kind of that custard base, but the base of that custard is what we're going for. And that's going to be the egg yolks, the cornstarch, the sugar, and then a pinch of salt. We're going to put them all in a large saucepan because later on that needs to go on heat and it's just easier that way. And I'm going to show you kind of my method of taking the egg yolks from like the egg whites. All the eggs go into a bowl of some sort, and you just kind of pull out the egg yolks, kind of like like you're a claw machine and just kind of like let the egg whites fall around your hand. It's the easiest way that I've found for making ice cream, because with ice cream you need like 8 egg yolks, with the least amount of like egg yolk breakage. Like I have not broken an egg yolk with my hand yet. The only time that I've ever broken an egg yolk is when I'm cracking it open to put into the bowl. And it just seems a little quicker, less monotonous than trying to like transfer the eggs back and forth and hoping that the egg yolk falls between. It is a little messier, so just make sure you wash your hands afterwards. But then for the actual, what we're doing, that custard base, after everything's in the saucepan, mix it up with a whisk, and you should be looking for kind of like silky smooth texture at the end. And if you can do this step, well, actually to be fair, the next few steps, then you can handle making your own homemade ice cream. All you have to do is buy an ice cream maker, because this is like identical to what I do for that. So it's kind of fun. I haven't made ice cream in a minute, so this is kind of fun to get back into and doing. Now in a small saucepan, we're going to heat the milk. Don't boil. It says in the instructions, do not boil. We're going to, I want to say it says simmer, but that's pretty close to boiling. I'm just gonna like look for like the bubbles around the edge. I'm gonna stir it just to kind of like keep any like film from developing on top of the milk. And then don't let it boil is probably the biggest rule, because then it's too hot. The next step is to, I believe it's called tempering, the egg mix, or like the base that I was kind of calling it before, where you're going to take about 1/3 of a cup of that hot milk, add it to the large saucepan while continuously whisking, because you don't want to scramble the eggs, because if you just add in the hot and let it sit, those eggs will just cook, versus if you're mixing it, it kind of gradually lets everything rise, that's the right term, rise in temperature so that it doesn't scramble. And then you can add in the rest of the milk afterwards, and it'll be a smooth, even texture, versus if you do this wrong, it's gonna be chunky. So don't do it wrong. Good luck. Now take that large saucepan with the egg milk mixture in it, put it on medium heat, and let it thicken up. I'd probably continuously stir would be a good idea. And you're going for, I think it says peanut butter consistency, which is pretty thick, but that makes sense because you don't want to cut into the pie and then have it just like everywhere. So keep an eye on it, don't walk away. Hopefully this happens pretty quick, but we'll find out. We're going to add in the bourbon, the vanilla, and then the salted butter that is chopped up into like 1/2-inch pieces, and then mix that all up. Now that we have the crust done and the filling done, it's time to put those together, and we're going to take that cooled off pie crust, line the bottom with sliced banana, and then we're going to put the filling over top and kind of smooth it out, and then we're going to cover with plastic wrap and then refrigerate it until it's cooled. Now we want to make the whipped cream topping, so just put the whipped cream into a stand mixer along with the powdered sugar and the vanilla. Put that on high, whip it until it stiff peaks. Easy as that. Now we take the cooled off pie and we take the whipped cream topping, put it on top, and then if you want to, garnish it with like dark chocolate, put something else on there, maybe like crumbled up graham crackers if you have extra. I think the recipe recommends a few other things if you want to make it your own. Ooh, caramel sauce. That would be good, and I think that's on their list. So just put the topping on, garnish it however you like, and then it's time to eat, which is the best part. All right, here we have it. Very happy with this. You can see the layers are staying separate. The filling didn't kind of like droop out. The whipped cream on top is staying kind of solid, stiff, peaks, you know? Nothing's falling apart. I can give it a little earthquake test. Solid as a rock. So visually, 10 out of 10. I'm very happy with how this turned out. The chocolate shavings on top, they had like chocolate curls in the picture, and I was trying to do that. And then I quickly realized I have no idea how to do that. So I Googled it, and it's complicated. It involves like melting the chocolate with some butter and then like spreading it on a surface and like scraping that up. And I'm like, no, ain't no way I got time for that. So I went with chocolate shavings, which as you saw, I just kind of like scrape a knife across it. It's visually beautiful, but does it taste good? That's where it's important. So we'll see if it lives up to that side, because you can't be the world's best just by looking good. You gotta taste good too. So let's give this a go, and then we'll see how it stacks up. Ooh, almost dropped it. Whoo! But saved it. All right, bon appetit. I mean, the flavors, nailing it. I was a little bit worried because it's banana cream pie. So banana should be, you know, bill number one. But banana is not really used in this recipe a lot, except for that slice of banana layer. And so I was kind of worried. I'm like, is the banana flavor gonna be there? I feel like it should be in the filling. Like, I feel like banana should somehow, like we should be making banana pudding, but there was no banana in there. But I guess it's sitting in the fridge, kind of those mix and mingled and became a delicious banana something. And so it hit that. My worries were not needed because it nailed it. The only thing I would say, kind of like the one small negative, is the custard, like pudding layer. I want to say the word gelatinous. That doesn't feel right. But like the mouthfeel of it, it's a little bit like bouncy. Whereas I feel like it should have a more smooth kind of like bite to it. But that's not a huge issue. It's just kind of like a small one. I don't know how to fix that, but still delicious, still good. I feel like it might just be me trying to overthink things. Like if you were just like eating this, chatting with people, you probably wouldn't notice this. I will definitely be making this again because it was actually pretty easy. So like that world's best title, I probably will let this one have just because how good it is, how simple it is to make, but it's impressive. Like if somebody saw that cross section, like they'd be like, wow, like you did this? I mean, granted, you saying that you made the crust probably already puts you pretty high up there. But just the cross section, like even if you like bought the graham crackers, would be pretty impressive because like I should say visually it looks impressive, but like in reality it's just banana that you just had to slice up. Easy. The custard's a little bit difficult, but not too bad. And then the whipped cream, you just throw that in like a stand mixer, you're good to go. So I'd say it can keep that title of world's best. It's definitely up there. I don't know about like the best, but one of the best. And definitely a great way to celebrate Pi Day. Hopefully you can find some kind of pie to celebrate your Pi Day with. Maybe a pizza pie. I got that behind me. You probably noticed it when I leaned at one point. Because I still need to eat dinner. You know, an actual pie. What other pies? A hand pie. Those apple pie McDonald's things that I made, those were good. But find some way to enjoy it. Try and see how many digits of pi you can remember, because that's kind of what the day is about. But overall, a great way to do it. Hope you enjoy it somehow. And on that note, bye Mom, still not dead. See you.